Hey everybody! So today I wanted to do kind of a different video from what I've done in the past, but it's a video that I'm really excited to make. I wanted to do a video on my experience working in retail, just because I've been watching a lot of videos on this and I think it's a really interesting topic. For one, coming from someone who works in retail, it's really interesting to hear other people's experience, and then I used to also work in food, and the differences are really different, so I think it'll be really interesting to just tell you guys my experience working there. Work at Old Navy is, if you guys don't know, it's in a lot of different countries. The USA where I live, it's in Canada, I know it's in China, I think a bunch of different countries. I'm not exactly sure all of the ones. Ones that I see most of the time though are like Canada and the US. And it's also under a bigger umbrella, Gap. So Gap Inc. is the company that owns us, Athleta, Banana Republic, and Gap, obviously. So I have worked there for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in November. I'm very well informed to tell you guys what my experience is and how it, like, if I enjoy it or not, and all the pros and cons of working in retail. Start with the, I guess, just like the randomness of working, like, not a pro or con, just like about the company. The pay is about what you could expect at any, well, kind of. I got paid $9.50. I live in Minnesota. I got paid $9.50, which is about minimum wage here is $9.50, not like $7.25 or whatever it is. So I don't know how it is. I think Gap's minimum wage is $10. So you get paid $9.50 for the first 6 months, and if it works out, you get paid $10 after that 6 months. And then you have a chance to get a raise like every year. Get a chance to get paid. So I've worked there for 2 years, so I'm making more than minimum wage. And you get a raise if you do well, obviously. The discount that we get, I think most companies, if you have a parent company, you get a discount at at all of them. We get 50% off at Old Navy, Gap, and Banana. And then, 50% off Gap and Banana is really good, but it's still really expensive. So obviously I shop mostly at Old Navy. Most of my closet is from Old Navy. And then we just started getting our discount at Athleta since it's a newer company. We get 25% off at Athleta. Interviewing process was pretty. I got hired originally as a seasonal with the potential to be a regular employee, and obviously I got hired as a regular employee. So the hiring process is a little bit different, I'm sure, from like what I did. So I had an interview. I had an individual interview. So you usually have individual interviews, and then you'll do like a group. You do like a phone interview, and then you do like a normal interview. At least how I sorted it. And then you go in, give you a tour of it, and then you pick out an outfit and you dress a mannequin, and it's supposed to reflect your style and how you would dress on a normal basis. And that's just that's just kind of trying to get to know you more than anything else. I don't know how much it counts against you. It's just them to try and get to know you. And orientation is usually in a big group. Mine was 3. The orientations that we've been having recently have been 6 or 7 people. During holiday, we do obviously hire on extra people, and then we get just hire seasonally too. Obviously, holiday times like Thanksgiving, Christmas. Obviously, they're big holidays. A lot of people are shopping. It's also around winter time, so we get a lot of people coming in and shopping. Because I think that, I don't know dress codes for other places, but all retail does have a dress code. So we have no leggings if your shirt doesn't go mid-thigh, so you can wear a tunic or something. You can't wear other you can wear other brands, but you can't wear a logo that's bigger than an inch. And the only exception to this is shoes. You have to wear closed-toed shoes if you're going to be doing moves or shipment, which is just because we have a lot of equipment that can hurt you, obviously. No spaghetti straps, no sweatpants, and then no rubber flip-flops. You can't wear rubber flip-flops, you can wear cloth ones, but basically the entire point is that they want you to look professional, or at least somewhat professional. Which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's good. You can't wear any athletic wear either, unless it's like a special sale, which I think is good. It kind of does teach you that, like, in the real world there is a dress code and, like, you're expected to look professional. Now I want to go through the pros and cons, and I want to start with the cons because I will end on the happy note. Some of the cons of working retail is obviously the hours can be really sporadic, which can either be good or bad. Normal, like Wednesday or Friday when we get shipment in, you can be there from either you get there like you can be there from 5 a.m., like get there at 5 a.m., or you can be there until 10 p.m. And then there are random times, so if we have to do moves, which is just where you move around the store and get everything ready, you can be there at 5 a.m. or you can stay until 2 a.m. It just kind of depends. Most of the time they'll have people come in at 5 a.m. instead of stay until 2 a.m. But you could stay there until 2 a.m. That happens a lot with signage. The hours can be really sporadic, which is hard to get into a routine because you can't really get used to like always waking up at 5 a.m. or always like having to be up late. You kind of have to like change around your schedule, which can be kind of hard. Another con is you can deal with a lot of difficult customers. I've noticed this more in retail than I did in food, mostly because I think you're spending significantly more money. Customers can be more difficult. In the same way, there can also be really, really good customers. They're not all bad, but obviously it does take a certain type of person to work retail. Third con is, for me, it's a really physically demanding job. Mannequins can, I think our men mannequins weigh like 50 pounds. You have to be able, like to get the job, you do have to be able to lift 50 pounds. So it can be really, really physically demanding. And also you are on your feet all the time. Your feet for long periods of time, especially if I can work like 9-hour shifts, and I mean I prefer 9-hour shifts, but it can be a very, very physically demanding job. So that is definitely a con because you're on your feet all the time. You're moving. You can either be moving around a lot if you're like having to put stuff back or clean up the store, or you can just be standing in one spot. I personally think being at the registers and just standing in one spot can be a little bit harder just because you don't really get the chance to move around. I want to go to the pros of working retail because personally I've had a really, really, really good experience, especially at Old Navy. So my first pro is that at least at the store I work at, it really does feel like a community. I feel like I bond with a lot of people. I've made some really, really good friends through my job. The amount of hours that you can change are also a pro as well as a con because I'm in college, so like sometimes I can like work a shift before class or work a shift after class if I want to. I can work at 5 a.m. and do like a 5 to 10 and still be able to go to class. It's a really nice job if you're working, if you have like other things to do. The other pro is definitely the discount. So getting 50% off is probably the best thing in the world. And just being able to like, I can go shopping but not feel super guilty about it. And I would say another pro for me is I am a men's and boys lead, which is basically just like you help the department manager with like dressing mannequins and setting up your shops and everything. Really nice because I get to be creative and think like, oh well, if this isn't getting like shopped, if we're not doing super well, like what can we do to make it? And I feel like it's really good. I've been able to really be creative with my job, which is something I really love. When I worked in food, I couldn't be as creative, and obviously I get to be creative with my outfits, which is something I really enjoy. I really like being able to get up in the morning and think, oh, what would be a cute outfit? Or the night before thinking, what would be a cute outfit? That is it for my experience working retail. All in all, I've had a really good experience working in retail, and I still really, really enjoy it. It's a good job to have, especially if you're in high school or in college and you want if you want a job, you know. Make so many good people, and the employees are fantastic. So I would recommend it. Obviously, it's not for everybody, just as I think like food isn't for everybody. Obviously, retail is also not, but if you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up, and thank you guys for watching.